Okay, I can understand now why a lot of people didn't like my version of the soundtrack. This, it, I'm playing it back through my speakers, and there's just so much grunge. It feels epic. It feels like cathedral, almost like like it's representing of a church-esque feeling. Um, the risers, it's so bassy and impactful. And what I mean by that is the rises and the stingers, it's just constantly hitting. And they're so big. The sound at the moment, just a minute in, and the sound just feels so big in terms of scope. Now, I played this game. The game certainly represents that. So it's nice to see that they're representing this through the sound as well. Because this game is really big. So just for a second, we get quiet. Why? Because the fade in. There's a fade in here. Starts off very light. Maybe some like violins echo, maybe a harp, maybe playing there. Not quite sure, but we're just leading up. 7 seconds in, we're just leading up. So we have female vocals and we have a male vocals. We have the female vocals doing a hum, and we have the male vocals kind of singing or chanting. Now that sets the stage. Now underline, there's like either a drone or a bit of a bass, underlining that like really low end frequency on the EQ system. Right there. Doom. And now we get the violins. So we get a little bit of pause because of like this kind of church vibe, this greater sound that's happening through the vocals of the female and the male. We let that echo out. We let that just fade out. I don't know if it was real echo or digital echo through like a software, reverb, all that type of stuff. I'm unsure, but they just let the echo and the reverb just last a couple of seconds. Then, boom, then the violin kicks in. There's a brass percussion, you know, but it's heavy percussion, really heavy kick percussion with with the drums, all of that that's coming in. I think we get like a tremolo or kind of like a little short sustain string. We definitely have the brass, which is doing the heavy lifting. We're certainly having that. The brass is kicking in. Check out my last video. I broke down the first one, and the first one had a couple of interesting, and it first one towards the end is where it felt like Doom. Maybe this is picking up from that kind of sense of lost, that the first game through the soundtrack represented. So it's interesting that they're picking this up because there's a lot of sense of dread, a sense of urgency, a sense of danger in this soundtrack with how big it is. So it's the chanting. Oh, this is an amazing soundtrack. Oh, it's probably my favorite one I've broken down. We get some chanting from the opening. We just get some chanting from the male vocals. They have kind of low to mid kind of in the octaves. We've got some like kind of women off into the distance in the mix. When we get the brass coming in, not brass, but brass coming in. Uh, then we get some kind of maybe hi hats or just some, but the sound design building up from that cowbells, church bells, just ringing like brrr, like ringing a sense of urgency. Maybe that part was praying to the higher ups, praying to God or whatever before you go to war. That last prayer, knowing that you have to go to war, and here it is. We're in the action through the vocals. That just came right in. Pause. Just came right in, and it was just like it just slapped you, and it's and it's heavy, and it is so it gives a sense of urgency that the first soundtrack from the first game didn't. It had in the opening, it did, but it was a lot more hopeful, a lot more ambiguous, a lot more just, yeah. And then it kind of just played up and got a bit somber. But this one's like, we have to win this war. That there, dum dum dum. That's a standard kind of thing that you would use, but it's used to nail in the point of an action sequence, or you know, a cinematic or a scene that has tension. Battle fights, conflicts, which obviously, this is like a military game. You war with aliens and stuff, so it's like it's homing in that point. So there we have a violin there. We have a short sustain ding, ding, with the violin. So the violin is backing up that little bass then. Ding, 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 like that violin is backing that up. Then we get a clash, so we get a rise. Sorry, my dog. We get a riser. So we have a clash. Clash between, you know, again, guys, post on in the comments down below, a clash between, what, different races, different species. It's a clash between, you know, what looks like to be a human clashing with outside species. So uh, you know. So we do have a short sustain. So it's either a spizzicato or a staccato kind of string. That's being, I shouldn't be making these gestures, but it's backing up the fast pace that is the soundtrack. Oh, I love that sound right there. It's so cool. Did you notice though? Three instruments are playing now. Got the strings, along with maybe like violin or violin one, two. How many violins they have in the program. They also have that playing up, for the higher octaves. Then they use the bass, but then the brass comes in towards the end, just underlining that kind of grungy feeling. So it goes boom, 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 boom. It's so cool, so clever. Understand? Then now the bass is coming in. It's almost like a heartbeat again, like kind of symbolizing the first soundtrack where it almost felt like heartbeatic at times. It's playing that again. Sorry, I keep on pausing, but there's so much to break down. Could almost have heartbeats of footsteps, like you're running towards someone, like because they're wearing big, heavy gear. Their footsteps are going to be loud, metallic. So the bass is kind of representing one foot and the other. So there was quite a bit to break down. I just wanted to let it play out. So they added some more chants. I don't know if that's like kind of only people in the law. Maybe that they chant or whatever. I'm not familiar. Post down in the comments down below. But through, I think that the biggest theme for me is the footsteps. There's a lot of part in that bass. The bass is doing the heavy lifting. I feel in the soundtrack, and I think they purposely did that, because when I was playing the game, your footsteps stand out, and it would, because you got these people in huge gear. It's going to be heavy, clunky, in a good way, because they're in heavy gear. They have to fight, you know species that normally, if you're a standard marine, you get chewed up. So you have to go in kind of a bigger suit. But the clanking, the clanking of the footsteps, I think is a big one. And when you listen to this soundtrack back, or when you listen to it, have that in mind, because there's so many times in this score that is, but they add in a little like electronic synth in there as well. I think they might have added like electric guitar in there as well, just maybe just to back up some things. But the bass is doing the heavy lifting. So this is coming into the kind of the last stages of the soundtrack. The vocals, women and the male vocals are kind of coming in together. Obviously, one is occupying certain frequencies, but they're all kind of chanting in unison, and they're all chanting. I don't know if that's a nod to the lore from Warhammer. I don't know, but they're chanting. You got that element, but it's a new chant. Maybe it's like a battle war chant. I don't know. Right there, they're homing in that kind of standard score action thing, but this it's underlining for, I think, like maybe like an electronic something, guitar, whatever it may be, bass, synth, I don't know, but it's along with the bass as well. So we're getting this. But the chant now is picking up on this. Now it's homing in. So the chant starts da 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 with this, just doubling that uh pattern then. Now we play a new motif. Na, 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 and that part there is very a sense of urgency for me. The brass as well. It's bassy and it's giving that epic feel. It this is what so much grandiose, so much epicness gives. Happens. But the bit brass, yeah, 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 like it's doing a lot right now. It is carrying the soundtrack along with the vocals. Right there, a little a little electronic synth, because we are far into the future, so it's just kind of modulation playing with synths. It's quite cool. See, it's the footsteps, like you're in the scrap. That's what's happening. That's what my ears can pick up. But ladies and gentlemen, I want your opinions down in the comments down below. What do you like about Space Marine 2? Obviously, Space Marine 3 has been announced. Well, it's in development, but it's been announced. So we'll break that. We'll break that composition down when it comes out. Let me know in the comments down below what you want me to react to. Do you like this soundtrack? And until my next video, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave a like. Bye bye.